Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about the phases of motherhood. And this came up because I was sitting around and I was thinking of all the things I've learned through the years, of all, the transitions, the transformations. And part of me was like, geez, I really wish that I, my future self, could talk to my past self and tell myself, like, hey, those diapers, don't stress about it. Or going through fertility struggles and kind of giving the cliff notes of like, hey, actually, maybe go try this instead. Like, give me a little nudge or things to think about, especially when it comes to like approaching something in the creative thinking mindset and brainstorming. And it would just be so helpful to have a future version of me or you or anyone to kind of help guide back through all these phases. And I was like, wait a minute, I can help you guys in that same exact way. And that's how I help clients. Essentially, it's like, I've been there. I've been exactly where you are. Not exactly, but we can relate to one another in ways that where, many people can't. So before even talking about the specific things and how to help, I wanted to like kind of do a run through of what is the breakdown, especially like what are the phases of motherhood. So let's do this. The first phase, you might think it's like, oh, you have a baby, that's the first phase. And it's like, nope, let's back it up a little bit more even. Well, then what is it pregnancy? I was like, well, yes, but let's back that up even more. The first phase is deciding you want to try, right? Deciding that, ooh, like I want to be a mother. Many people don't need this decision phase. You already knew that you wanted to be a mother. For me, I actually didn't think of it like as a choice. I know that sounds odd. It's like going to college. It's just like a check in the box, right? It's like, yeah, you're gonna study hard, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna get a career, you're gonna have a family. It's like another check in the box. And when it came to the deciding to have kids and trying phase, I was like, yes, I'm in. And it's the trying phase for me specifically. Like many people, like, okay, the trying phase, the having the baby would take what, like 9 months, the pregnancy. For me personally, it took over 6 years. For those that don't know, I struggled with infertility. And it was a long time, right? Like it wasn't 9 months for me, it was 6 years of trying to have a baby, being told that it wasn't going to be possible. I was told I had less than a 1% chance of having a child in my fifth year of trying. And it was a long and hard struggle. But one thing I will say, future me going back, is it was something not, I don't want to say something that is needed, but like it was the first time that I was able to stop in my tracks, stop checking off the boxes of what I was kind of told what the perfect life was, and actually ask myself, do I really want to be a mother, right? After years of trying the IVF and stuff, I'm like, is this really what I want to do? And the whys of why I want to do it and the things behind it. And it was the first time where I really stopped moving super fast to just like, check all the boxes in life and actually take care of myself. I know it seems odd, but it was the beginning of the most important thing of motherhood, of being a mother, is to focus on yourself. I know that sounds funny because when you're a mom, you're always thinking, I'm so selfless, right? But the most important thing you can do is focus on yourself, get to know yourself, and take care of yourself and pursue what you are inspired to do, what you are passionate about, what your mission is. Because through all those things, through taking care of yourself, focusing on what is important to you, just by like correlation, is you're going to become an even better mom. Your kids are going to be even more awesome because they see you, right? And your career will explode in a good way, like will escalate because you were just so much clearer. So first step, and it starts with the very first, the trying, is focusing on yourself, right? Especially before having kids, it's only you. And well, your husband, your partner, I should say, if you have a partner too. but it's really like looking inward and being good with where you are and where you're going. So for me, the first step is the trying. The next step is pregnancy, right? For me, I love being pregnant. I still like rub my belly like this occasionally because I just loved having that big belly and like rubbing it. I was lucky I didn't have morning sickness or whatnot. And for me, I also joke that it took so long for me in the trying stage, like over 6 years to get pregnant, that someone was looking out for me and was like, okay, she's had a hard enough time. Let's give her an easy pass for the pregnancy. Let's give her awesome pregnancies. So I really enjoyed pregnancy. But with that phase, like more than ever, right? Self-care is the most important thing. And that's where you also have the time to prepare, right? The nesting part and everything like that. And there's so many things during that time that I wish future me would have like come back and said, maybe you don't need to focus so much on this, but you focus more on this, and it would have helped me a lot. The next phase is birth, right? Having the baby. And this is where we focus so much of our energy on while we're pregnant, of course, because it's a scary thing with the doulas, what kind of pregnancy, like what kind of birth plan, and it's all super important. The one thing I really wish someone would have mentioned was like breastfeeding, and that kind of put more of an emphasis on that. That's what future me would have been like, okay, that's cool. But for me, like that, the birth and the newborn, like those first couple of days is really tough, right? Emotionally, there's so much going on, like actual emotions, hormones and whatnot, but then there's a lot of pressure, especially on the mom, right? To feed the baby, and or more than just feed, all the other things too. But like, let's say you are trying to breastfeed and it's not working, and the baby's crying, everyone's looking at you, you feel so much pressure. And all of a sudden, I know for me, I was like, I'm already failing as a mom. Oh my God, I remember breaking down and like so stressed. Like even now thinking about breastfeeding, like it didn't stop either. From my first, it's a very hard time. So it's like the newborn time, right? I still remember, that first week home with Tegan, my oldest, it was a hard time. And that is a stage where I really could have used future me to come back and be like, okay, you got this, right? And that's what I help my clients do too. And it's just really nice to talk to someone that's been there, been in that like can get it. Your partner might not quite get it. Your mother might, it's been a while. It's sometimes it hinders more than helps, right? It's good to have someone help navigate those times with you in a non-critical way, right? So there's that newborn phase, and then the next phase I call it like the new mom phase, right? It's like within the next couple of months, it's like you start getting your groove. It's like awesome. The baby's actually becoming like a real person, like with a personality. That first time the baby smiles, I forget like which month that is. I love it. Like you start feeling, you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then boom, it's time to go work. The maternity leave is over, and wow, so many emotions come into play then, right? Too, it's like, oh, career, yes, like of course I want to go back to work, but oh my God, I still remember like that time when I realized I was like doing the schedule in my head. I'm like, wait a minute, if Tegan goes to sleep at this time, or she needs this amount of sleep, and I get back from work at like 7:30, 8, am I never going to see my child during the week, and I have to live for it was devastating. And then it's like, how do parents do this? I still remember like talking to Matt, I'd be like, how do parents do this? This is crazy. And I was like, everyone does this. This is like, but there's better ways of doing it. And I realize that now, and I didn't realize that, like, to me, it's just overwhelming. And oh my God, I've been working so hard to become a mother, right? Like I was trying so long, and now I'm a mom, I can't enjoy it. And it's like so many things. And then all those things come into play, like, well, do I quit my job and become a full-time mom? But I love my career. Do I lose myself in that? There's so many things as a new mom, and not only like the big things like, oh, career versus stay-at-home mom versus how do I juggle both, but like the little things too, right? Just like tips like that I live by now that help me every morning. I'm alone with my two kids, like hustling to get them out, and without those little things, it's like a lifesaver. So there's that new mom phase, right? And I still remember, I will tell you, if you're a new mom and you're dropping your child off to daycare or nanny for the first time after that first day back, it's heartbreaking. Like I still think about it. So I feel for you, and it gets better. So then the next phase is working mom. You gotta get in your groove, right? But no, there's all these things that get thrown at you, all different levels, different, kids grow up, different ages, kind of throw different things at you, schools, extracurriculars, like all these things. And also, after your first, you might have a second, you might have multiple kids after that. Then like, how do you navigate that? And that's where like having the future self to help you navigate and be like, okay, don't worry, it's going to be okay. And this is what you can do. And to design, the most important thing is to design a life that works for you, not the other way around, right? Like for me, I still remember talking to a mom kind of in the same age as Tegan, actually. And she mentioned like, oh, now that we have a kid, everything's, forget about everything. Like forget about yourself, forget about self-care. You're never gonna exercise again. You're never gonna go out with friends. The home's always gonna be a mess. And like she already gave up. The kid was like 3 months old. And she's like, ah. It was like, everything I can't do. I can't do this, I can't do that. And I was like, no. And I went the opposite. I was just like, no, I actually want to envision this like amazing life. This amazing life now that I have kids and everything. Like now's the time to make it like one up it even more, not give up on things that I love to do, but like let's like 10x that, right? And things like I dream big in a way for like, take vacations with them, where I was like, how awesome would it be if we took a month off every summer and went travel. That was a big thing. People like, you're never gonna travel again, you have little kids and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'll show you. So I had a vision of I want to travel and take a month off. Well, travel in general, but then one of the other things was take a month off in the summer and pick a different place in the world to just like live for a month. And we could experience the culture, the food, and all the amazing things that, living abroad would do, and also different perspectives, different languages. And imagine if every summer we did this and we lived somewhere else and we got different perspectives and ate delicious food. That was like top of my priority. By the time the kids are, going to college, imagine the experiences that we've all had together. And, I once mentioned this to someone before I implemented, and they're like, oh, that's crazy. You can't do that. You can't do that. Like, oh, that's a nice dream. Today, like we have been going away. The first, the first year Tegan was born, we went to Paris. Well, no, we went to southern France. And then we went to Copenhagen for a summer. Then went to Amsterdam for a summer. That area is very young kid friendly, just so you guys know as a little tip. But like I made it happen because I designed it that way. I was very intentional about it. And another thing is like, I knew when I was doing that schedule early on and seeing what what time I was going to be home, I was like, that's not going to work in the long run. So the long game was like, I'm going to try to figure out how I can pick my kids up from school, which was like really daunting when I said it. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do that without quitting my job, right? But I will say today, I am picking my kids up from school every single day, and it is amazing. I think back to it. So it seems like a very simple thing, but it's just like intentional way of like designing. Like, do you want to do that? Make that your priority and make it happen, right? And that's what I am here to help you guys do. And really just go through all the phases of motherhood, career, life, everything together to really use creative thinking and brainstorming to design a life that fits you, that you want to live, and that will make you smile every day. I just met someone that said, like, I just want to make people smile. And I thought that was a great mission. And part of me was like, well, first, make yourself smile, right? Wake up and smile every day because you are living the life that you have designed and created. And it's amazing. So, with that, start thinking, right? What's the life that you want to create? What's your version of the summer off or the picking up kids? Maybe it is the summer off or picking up kids. You never know. But start dreaming, start thinking about it, because that is how you start designing your life instead of saying, I can't do anything about it, right? So let's start taking control and designing your life together. Talk soon.